Okay, so this is the picture we left off with in the last video. I'm going to pop out of this, go back to the plat map so you can kind of get a reference for where this picture was taken, and then I'll keep walking you guys through the journey. So, alright, so that picture was taken, let me put some kind of little, no, I don't want, let's just put a little circle. That picture was taken roughly right there. Whoa! Way too big of a circle, but you get the idea. It was taken in that, there's a better one. It was taken in this, I think, what would be the south side of that property in the corner by the woods there. And that picture was taken looking north. So let me bring back those pictures. Alright, so I'm looking north. The woods, that finger of woods is on my left hand or west side. Obviously alfalfa, and then the neighboring cornfield. So, okay, so I turned north, and these are some of the trees along that line. So this is up in that corner where I took the picture from, and I saw those there. I thought, ooh, those are definitely a flowering plant. You will want to figure out what it is, take a look at it, and get an idea on that. Again, is this something we like, we don't like? If we're doing prairie, do we already have prairie plants there? What do we want to do here? What do we have? Okay, so now those are the trees I mentioned like their feet wet. Big trees! Pretty open though, but some big trees leaning all over the place. They're down at a bottom. That's definitely a bottom area there because the ground to the east or the right slopes down to this. When we go around the tree line, the ground slopes up. So basically you're in the bottom of a little, I wouldn't call it a valley, but a drainage where it's all draining down to where those trees are at. So those guys, again, like their feet wet. Do we keep them? Do we get them out of there? What kind of trees do we think those are? So they're the leaves of the trees. So hopefully we can get a positive idea on that species. So an important thing during the building a restoration plan is to create the species list. Here's the biodiversity. Here's the flora, the fauna. Here are the natives, the invasives, etc. You need to have that data present in a plan to say, here's all the natives. Great, we got a good start. Let's enhance it. Or here's the invasives. Ugh, how do we get rid of these guys? So, like I said, create a list. Doesn't have to be fancy, but you need a list to be able to identify how to move forward with a restoration plan. Check these things out. No, they are not grapes. They are another type of plant. They kind of resemble grapes, but grapes are what we would call deciduous. They're woody plants. These guys die off every year and come back every year. So what is that? Is that good for wildlife or is that bad? So, all right. So now walked up and I am at let me jump back. I am at the edge of the woods. I'm going to put a little orange pin. I like these pins. I am now right up here. It's back on this side, the foundation side of that red line. But I'm up there looking at the alfalfa field. So we are looking east. So again, notice how the ground rises. You cannot see the Curtis blacktop because the ground slopes down so much. So, all right, so then I turned. There's that kind of path through. I walked around, and now I am... Oh, don't do that. I am right about here. So a little red circle star thingy is where this picture's taken. So I'm actually looking south on the other side of that, where those big trees were at, the kind of the drainage area. All right, so I walked south along the edge of that. I turned around to just take a picture going back from where I walked. This is that little path through. That way the equipment, tractors and baling equipment can go from this side of the property through here to this side. Again, the overhead map here is great, gives an idea of what it looks like, but to do this, you really need to get on the ground, actually get somebody at the site to take pictures like this so you get a clearer idea of what's actually there. So, okay, so I just walked that wood line. I'm walking south to that little corner. Again, this is what I'm seeing, the different trees, the different plants. We want to figure out what those guys are. Use the leaves to help identify what type of tree or bush deciduous plant that we have here. And then, oh, that little guy out there in the alfalfa field. It's like, ooh, all excited I could find one, and actually stayed still. There you go. It's looking at us. What is it? What type? Right off the bat, you may go, it's that. Double check the wing pattern. Make sure you know what you're identifying here. Unfortunately, it would not let me take a picture of the backside of the wings. I tried to circle around and it decided it had better things to do. So, all right, so now I'm still walking. Again, the path is right there. I came around this way, had to walk up, pretty decent elevation, got up here. This picture is looking back east, kind of northeast. Behind me here are woods, scrubby trees, the fence line. That's looking straight west. So I am now, let me put a little yellow. I'm right about here, give or take a little bit, with that picture. And then I just followed that straight west, walked down it. I turned around, I'm looking back east. I'm on the south side, looking east, back to that finger of woods. Again, this is the big tree, or these are the big trees that like their feet wet, right there. And that's looking back west again. So I just turned around, looked straight west, kept following that all the way to the corner. Now, this picture, I am at the southwest corner of the property. Let me go back to yellow. I am right here with that picture that I just showed you. That's the southwest corner, and I'm looking east, kind of northeast. So notice how this looks like it rolls. The ground does roll. It slopes, it rolls. It is not flat ground at all. So we want to consider that again when we're thinking about our restoration project. Physical stressors. How does slope, elevation of the ground impact the property? In the near future, I'll be getting soil cores from the ground, so you can actually look at the soil quality. We'll talk about that in the near future here. All right, so I'm at the southwest corner. My next move was to walk straight north. Actually, I'm sorry. I took another picture before I went straight north. There's a picture of something I thought would be interesting. It's hard to tell with the picture, but this is a big dirt spot, very distinct. It's not, oh, just plants didn't grow there. Something scraped out the dirt. Okay, now I'm finally at the, let me move this up a little. I am at the northwest corner of the property. And I'm looking back south. So that picture, I use a little green pen, was taken from that corner on the foundation side of the property. And I'm looking south back to that yellow pin is basically the direction I'm looking with that picture. Okay, so I'm actually standing right against the corner post. There's a white piece of plastic pipe in the ground that marks the corner of that property. So looking straight south, you can see there's some houses here, telephone poles, electrical lines. That's the tree line. That is, the fence runs in there. Part of that's foundation property. Part of that is the people who own the property behind the foundation to the south. Okay, so I'm at that corner, and then this is looking straight east along the length of this property. So this is the north side of the property. Again, northwest corner, and I'm looking straight east. Now, visually, it's hard to tell just by looking, but my guess when I was standing at that corner post is that this line here is not gonna match that line. It looks like the corn is a bit over where that red line is at. That's another stressor we'll have to try to figure out how do you address. How do you delineate the property line so that the farmer doesn't kind of creep over with the corn and the beans and their crop every year into your conservation ground. So those are things we have to factor in during restoration. All right, so then I walked basically straight east along this cornfield. Again, notice the slope of the ground. And cut back across, found this one and thought, I want you guys to see that again. Or it's a different one. Same thing. Dirt was scraped out. So something scraped out that dirt along that fence line. And then got back and saw these and thought, ooh, pretty flowers. Take a picture of them for you. So that way you guys have a few more things to add into your list of biodiversity. Your species richness. How many different species do we have? You can notice the different plants in the background of the pictures. Those are all part of that community. All right, after that, I think that picture I took back here doesn't matter because there's several spots where I found those flowers. But again, start thinking about this. How does elevation, how does slope of the ground, soil quality, the stressors, you have a blacktop on this side, you have a road over here. I didn't go all the way to the edge, but the property actually goes right up to the road. There's a ditch there. What do we do with that? Do we use that as a buffer zone between the road and the actual beginning of the restoration? Do you restore all the way up to the road? Can you legally restore up to a road? So use this to help start putting together the ideas of a restoration plan. If you guys need more data, more images, let me know. I'll get out there as often as I can. You guys can, by all means, come up on your own if you want. If you do, let me know. If we can work it out, I'm more than happy to meet with you up there and show you. I understand it's a bit of a drive, so I'm not requiring anybody to come up, but let's see what we can do about coming up with a proposal for a restoration project for this piece of property. So, okay, let me get out of this, and I'm going to go back to the map, just so you have a feel for, okay, so, all right, Lincoln Land Community College Foundation, 10.28 acres right there, and that is owned by the foundation as well, 6.13 acres, so there's all the legal information we would need. This piece of ground is owned by private party, Colleen Baum, I don't know who that is. This side up here is owned, it's in Illinois National Bank Land Trust, meaning whoever owns it, the bank has a note, so they owe the bank the money for the property. They're paying a mortgage. This piece as well, whoever owns it, they're paying the bank. They're paying a mortgage to the bank. Down here, this is a co-op, LG Co-op. So it's a company that works with the farmers in the community. The co-op also owns this little piece of ground here. So those are the neighbors we have to think about and work with. So what we do to our land will impact them. What they do to their land impacts us. It's best to try to work with your neighbors and be on good terms versus fighting and struggling. So, all right, let me load this one up, and that way you have hopefully all the video and image and information you need to start building that plan.